I am absolutely thrilled to be here talking some Looney Tunes. Eric, how you doing?
Eric, who's he? I'm Daffy. Nice to meet you. Don't mess around with the host. Hi, I'm Porky.
Okay,
Well,
I can take over from here. How's it going, Brandon?
Daffy, Porky, it was nice to meet you guys too.
They're back on the posters now, yeah.
I can see. I love that. Great. Well, before I jump in and ask you anything, I just want to say real quick, congratulations on this movie. I watched it last night and I had so much fun. I loved it. So
Oh,
congratulations. I thought it turned out great.
thank you so much for saying that. And it's one of those things where, just like any production that I think anyone works on, you kind of have your horse blinders on the whole time. And you almost forget that people are going to see this eventually. So
Sure.
when you hear kind words like that, it really means a lot. So thank you for saying
Oh,
that.
definitely. Definitely. Sure. So one thing that I really loved about this movie was just that it really felt like classic Looney Tunes. Like I'm of the millennial age who grew up watching Space Jam and Back in Action like nonstop at my house. And that's like, the live action hybrid kind of thing. But this just kind of brought me back to like those early cartoons, the whole 2D animation, the classic gags and all of that. So I'm just kind of wondering, yes, obviously isn't your first time voicing Daffy or Porky, but kind of when this project came across, did you find yourself kind of like going back to the original, like the 1930s and 40s, like cartoons and everything, like watching those to prepare for this?
Always, always, always. That is always the first thing I will do is you never want to tamper with what, why you don't want to reinvent the wheel. How about that? Um, it's what I love about these characters is that anyone that's ever worked with the characters, if you're a voiceover artist or a musician or a director or a writer or producer, the wheel stays the same, but the road around it changes. Where the wheel is going always changes, but you always are along for the ride with the same characters. And every time, just like you said, I will go home and watch the original shorts so I could study what Mel Blanc was doing. And if it's working, if it's making you laugh, it's because I'm dialing in like what I would imagine Mel would do, or at least take those familiar music notes and rearrange them in a new way that here's a new song you've never heard Mel Blanc sing, but these are the notes that you know that he could hit. So
Mm.
that's how I put it.
Sure. No, that makes total sense. Totally. Another thing that I think is just so exciting about this movie is kind of the whole theatrical release component because, in the nearly a century of Looney Tunes, there haven't been that many movies, and like there's been even fewer that have been in theaters. And I mean, I know everything with Coyote versus Acme, that all happens, but just kind of in general, how exciting is it for you that people are going to be able to like see this on the big screen?
I am thrilled that people have already been going in and getting their tickets and have been giving it a lot of praise. Aside from yourself, we've been getting so many great reviews, and I just hope that it translates into the studio wanting to make more with these characters because, and also more in 2D.
Mm,
I feel like this is a great resurgence, and I hope ignites a similar renaissance of Looney Tunes that we experienced growing up in the 80s and 90s.
sure. No, I am all on board for that. So I was having the same thoughts when I was watching it. I hope this takes off and we get way more. I want more. Sure. So obviously in this movie you voice both Daffy and Porky. I'm kind of just curious what the recording process looks like on your end when doing that. Is it like when you're in the booth, do you go like back and forth like having a conversation with each other, or do you like record all Daffy's lines and then go back and do Porky's?
Yeah, I feel like
When I'm talking to you, Brandon, we could do a Porky. Hold on. He only has a limited amount of time, Porky. Hi there, Daffy. Yeah, for things like this, it's easy to go back and forth in short increments, but in a session and in a movie especially, we have a lot of time with these characters and we don't have to rush through like we would on a television production. So
Mhm.
we would take our time on this. because you have 90 minutes to explore their relationship, where they even came from, and it makes the situations and the stakes worth it and higher, that much more important, because, or else, why else would we be watching it? So,
No, totally. Totally. And you mentioned where they came from. I wanted to ask you about that too, because I loved the opening like montage with Farmer Jim and everything. I thought that was like emotional, and I was like, damn, I'm getting choked up during a Looney Tunes movie all of a sudden. Didn't
yeah.
expect that. So I'm just kind of wondering for that whole process, is it more of a challenge like to kind of go into those emotional beats compared to just being like wacky and silly when for
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we have seen so many different pairings of the Looney Tunes. Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, Sylvester Tweety, even Bugs and Daffy, but they're always trying to get at each other. Whereas the pairing of Daffy and Porky, it's always been a little bit less about them trying to destroy each other and more about them coexisting. Like, how is Daffy going to ruin Porky's life today? So, in this, though, we really do get to see how bothered Porky can, how much Porky can be pushed, and he goes over the edge and really does not hold back on Daffy.
Yeah. No, definitely. I know what you're talking about too, kind of in the third act there when you see that relationship develop. I thought that was all brilliant and
Well,
it's
again, that's where it comes around. Although it's Pete Browngardt always likes to cite Dumb and Dumber, where they don't necessarily change that much in the movie. Like even at the end of the movie, they still do the dumbest thing, right? Like in that movie. But especially with these guys, you don't really want to see them change all that much, because you almost want to leave it open for another story. You don't want to resolve anything. Let's just put it that way.
yep, no, totally, totally. Another really fun addition I thought in this movie was Petunia Pig, because I mean she's been in Looney Tunes lore for a while, but she's kind of I don't know, I've never seen her have such like a prominent role in a Looney Tunes story like this before. And I really like kind of seeing how Porky interacts with her and everything.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
really, yeah, I thought you guys had great chemistry just with the vocal lines and everything. So I was just kind of wondering what it was like working with her and kind of bringing those characters to life like that.
Well, of course, that was the great Candy Milo, who has been with Looney Tunes for a few years, many, many years, but also she was on the original Tiny Toons adventures. She was Sweetie. And, for whatever reason, I think Candy is just one of the funniest people that I've ever met, and understands how to deliver a joke, how to deliver a written joke, comedy, and all around. It's just so talented and generous. She's such a generous performer with her talent and with her friendship. And I've always been a big admirer of her, and she's been an inspiration on me. And I'm just glad that she was able to join us in this film, and kind of show that animation's not always a boys' club.
Yeah. No, totally. Totally. I mean, we've kind of talked about just like hoping that this leads to more of the future of Looney Tunes and everything. And now you do more voices than just Daffy and Porky. So I'm just wondering if you like have an opinion or if you could have a say if there were to be more Looney Tunes movies, is there any like other characters you would want to see like one specifically centered around or like another pairing like Daffy and Porky?
Well, Doc, I'm glad you asked that question, because I mean, what's a rabbit got to do to get his own movie around here?
I mean, Bugs Bunny would be the most ideal follow-up, I think, to this movie. And who knows? Stranger things have happened. If this movie does financially well, they may take a certain other movie off the shelf and put that in theaters. I mean, it's already made, so all they have to do is press play.
Yep. I'm hoping. I really want to see it, so I'm hoping.
I mean, I think you and the rest of the world, and one guy wearing a coyote costume today outside of the studio, or protesting yesterday, which I thought was funny. The best part is I'm in New York, so that couldn't have been me.
Yeah, there you go.
That is my alibi.
Yeah. There's footage of me walking down 44th Street going to see a Broadway show. So
There you
Sorry, Warner Brothers, that was not me. Not guilty.
go. You are in the clear.